या देवी सर्वभूतेषु विष्णुमायेति शब्दिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः।
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु चैतन्येत्यभिधीयते या देवी सर्वभूतेषु चैतन्येत्यभिधीयते
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु बुद्धिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। निद्रारूपेण संस्थिता
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु क्षुधारूपेण संस्थिता
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु छायारूपेण संस्थिता
शक्तिरूपेण संस्थिता
देवी सर्वभूतेषु तृष्णारूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः नमो नमः। शान्तिरूपेण संस्थिता
ठुमक चलत रामचंद्र ठुमक चलत रामचंद्र बाजत पैंजनियान ठुमक चलत रामचंद्र किलकी उठत दाय गिरत भूमि लटपटाय किलकी उठत दाय गिरत भूमि लटपटाय ताय मात गोद लेत दशरथ कीरनियान ठुमक चलत रामचंद्र ठुमक चलत रामचंद्र अंचल रजंग जारी विविध भांति सो दुलारी अंचल रजंग जारी विविध भांति सो दुलारी तन मन धन वारी वारी कहट मृदु वचनिया ठुमक चलत रामचंद्र ठुमक चलत रामचंद्र विद्रुम से अरुण अदर फूलत मुख मधुर मधुर विद्रुम से अरुण अदर फूलत चारु लटकट लटकनिया ठुमक चलत रामचंद्र ठुमक चलत रामचंद्र तुलसीदास अति आनंद थेक खे मुकारविंद तुलसीदास अति आनंद देख के मुकारविंद रघुवर छवि के समान रघुवर छवि बनिया ठुमक चलत रामचंद्र ठुमक चलत रामचंद्र बाजत पैंजनिया ठुमक चलत रामचंद्र बाजत पैंजनिया ठुमक चलत रामचंद्र ठुमक चलत रामचंद्र ठुमक चलत रामचंद्र.
Hari Om. I'm very happy Vijaya Dashami to all those who are joining. Before we begin, apologies for that. Before we begin, we will have a short invocation and then a very special message from Pujya Swamiji. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Sarvamangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanye Trambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Apadamapahartaram Dataram Sarvasampadam Lokabhiramam Shriramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamyaham. On this very special occasion of Vijaya Dashami, Dashera, we have a message from Pujya Swami Swarupananda Ji to begin this evening's satsang.
सिद्ध बाड़ी के तपोभूमि में नित्य विराजे गुरु हमारे. From the valley of bliss, from Siddhabadi, I send greetings of Vijay Dashami, Dasera, to all of you. Many of you who have been here and have experienced that love and bliss that resides in Siddhabadi in the form of our Gurudev. I know most of you are missing being here, and for those who have not been here, I send you that love, that happiness, that joy from Siddhabadi. I will try every day to send some message from a beautiful spot in Siddhabadi, where every grain of soil has the touch of his holy feet, and every plant and building structure has got the blessings of his glance, his vision. So from Siddhabadi, Hari Om and his blessings.
Today is, as we know, Vijaya Dashami, the 10th day of victory, or Dashera, as it's also known. This day comes after the 9 nights, the Navaratri festival, and many celebrated Vijaya Dashami yesterday. Some are celebrating today. So whichever way it's done, whichever way it's celebrated, the important thing we know is the symbolism and the significance that we are able to understand. Yesterday, on the 9th day of Navaratri, or the 9th night, Mother is worshipped as Siddhi Dhatri. Yesterday when we did Saraswati Puja. Siddhi Dhatri means the giver of Siddhi. What does Siddhi mean? So Siddhi can mean achievement. Siddhi can mean success. Siddhi can mean power. Siddhi also means moksha, liberation. There are many different types of siddhis. We know about the Ashta Siddhi, right? That that Sita ji wanted to give to Hanumanji, and by which he was not very impressed. Ashta Siddhi Navadinhi ke data, asabara dina Janaki mata. To reward Hanumanji, Mother Sita gave him these 8 siddhis, among which the ability to become big, become small, etc. So this is one type of siddhi. Other siddhis we also hear about being achieved through different sadhanas. There is a very famous story of a saint who was at that time a young man sitting with his siblings on a brick wall. And one very well-known yogi passed by, and he was sitting on a tiger. And he wanted everybody to be impressed that he had subdued this tiger and it was performing his will and carrying him everywhere. And that young Mahatma, that saint, he, seeing that and seeing that other yogi's pride, he made the brick wall upon which he was sitting move. So there are many different types of siddhis, in other words. But what is the ultimate siddhi? The ultimate achievement is self-realization. Self-realization, God-realization. The realization of the truth. Ramana Maharishi ji says, Siddhasya siddhi sata eva vittihi. That the only truth or the only wealth is the realization of the truth. And swapnopamana khalu siddhayonyaha. Other siddhis, they are like dream achievements. Because the self, the truth, that alone is real. And therefore that alone is worth pursuing. That alone is worth knowing. So Mother, when she appears as Siddhi Dhatri, it is by her grace and blessings that we gain this knowledge of the truth. At the same time, we know that in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Krishna says, Uddharet atmanatmanam natmanam avasadayet. He says, one should lift oneself by oneself. One should not lower or degrade oneself. In other words, if we want liberation, if we want knowledge, it is not a gift to be bestowed on us by someone else. It is something that we work for. It is something that we make ourselves worthy of by our cultivation of all of the values, all of the qualifications that are pointed out. We work to increase our viveka shakti, our ability to discriminate. We work to increase our dispassion, our discipline, our faith, our endurance, our desire to know the truth. And this is important because we know that if we were to understand realization as something that is bestowed upon us, then the effort that most of us put forth, it would drastically reduce. We would say, well, somebody can give it to me. Why should I make so much of an effort? But the example that we see, not only in teachers in our modern day or even in the past, gurus and disciples, but right from the time of the Bhagavad Gita, when Sri Krishna was teaching Arjuna, he did not touch Arjuna and give liberation. He taught him. He helped him to understand. He helped him to come out of his delusion by gaining the right understanding. That being the case, and having said that in the 6th chapter of the Gita, at the same time, in the 10th chapter, Bhagavan says, Tesham aham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat. Bhavami nachirat partha maya veshita chetasam. I become the samudharta, the one who lifts them out of this ocean of samsara. Whom? Mai aveshita chetasam. Those whose mind has entered into me. Those whose mind is completely absorbed in me. What we see is that we have to put forth effort in our sadhana. But when we do put forth effort to develop our qualifications and to gain knowledge, we also see Bhagwan's grace at work in our life. We see that it is in fact Bhagwan or Devi who is lifting us, who is making everything possible for us. We ourselves are limited. We are present only here and now. Our power is little. Our knowledge is little. And therefore, the effort that we make, it is defined by what we have at our disposal. We make as much effort as we can, but God's grace is infinite. And therefore, it is by God's grace that our small effort results in such wonderful results. Results in something much more than what we could achieve on our own. Devi as Siddhi Dhatri makes it possible for us to strive for liberation, gives us the results of our sadhana, and through her grace, we experience those results and we come to see our own true nature by her grace and blessings. This Vijayadashami day, as we saw earlier, is the 10th day on which the battle with Mahishasura came to an end. Vijayadashami is also said to be the day on which Ravana was defeated by Lord Rama. You can see we have our Ram Parivar today also, as well as Saraswati Ji. Ravana, it is well known in the story that when this battle was going on, his heads were being removed. And as each head was removed, very conveniently, another one would pop up very easily in its place. And because of this, the fight was not ending. Ravana was not getting defeated. So Vibhishana tells Lord Rama that he has to be struck in a different spot. And when he is struck there, then he is defeated. This Ravana and the symbolism of his 10 heads, the 10 heads are said to represent the 10 sense organs, 5 organs of perception and 5 organs of action. And Ravana was someone who utilized his senses only in selfish pursuits. He wanted to consume, he wanted to take. Even when he was performing tapas and praying to Lord Shiva, he was doing that to gain power, not free of desire in order to purify his mind, but with the desire to become powerful. With our sense organs, we are constantly engaging in this world. We are taking things in the form of what we see, what we hear, what we smell, taste, touch. We are responding to the world. We walk, we talk, we speak. If the actions that we perform and the experiences that we have with our sense organs, if they are motivated by selfish desire, then those organs become an instrument in our downfall. If, on the other hand, we are able to dedicate our actions, if we are able to purify what we take in, make it sattvic, then that will lead us closer to our goal. Ravana also represents the ahankara, sense of individuality. That, in a seeker's journey, is the last thing to fall. It is the thing by which everything else is negated, all other negativities. Finally, that ahankara which has negated everything else, that itself must be negated. And that is done with the grace of Bhagwan and the grace of the Guru. We have seen how this Navaratri festival represents the theme of the Vedas, how it guides us in our spiritual journey and helps us to understand what we need to do, how we should do it, how our evolution takes place. But we should also never forget that in and through all of our efforts, there is that one ingredient of grace that is making everything possible for us. So let us offer our prayers and prostrations to Bhagwan, to Devi, to Sri Rama. Let us pray for their grace and blessings, that we are able to continue evolving on this path through our service, through our sadhana, through our study, and that we may finally attain that goal of liberation. We have to conclude another very special offering by our Bala Vihar children and a short bhajan, after which we will finish with the closing prayers.
Mangalamangala Shiva Sarvata Satike Sharanye Trambake Gauri Narayani Namostute. Navaratri is 9 days and 9 nights, which Mataji fought against Mahishasura. On the 10th day she won, and we celebrate her victory on Vidyadashmi.
Navaratri is 9 nights of Garba. Are you ready to dance now?
Hari Om Santatam Pahi Mam Sangita Shamale Sarvadare Janani Sarvadare Chintita Prade Chitrupini Shive Shri Guru Guha Sevite Shiva Mohadare Santatam Pahi Mam Sangita Shamale Sarvadare Janani Sarvadare Chintita Prade Chitrupini Shive Shri Guru Guha Sevite Shiva Mohadare Santatam Pahi Mam Sangita Shamale Sarvadare Janani Sarvadare. Hari Om, thank you.
Hari Om. Navaratri. The festival of nights lasts for 9 days, with 3 days each devoted to worship of Ma Durga, the goddess of valor, Ma Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, and Ma Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge. During the 9 days of Navaratri, feasting and fasting take priority over all normal daily activities amongst the Hindus. Evenings give rise to the religious dances in order to worship Goddess Durga Ma. Hari Om. Lakshmi because she gives us good values like being honest or loving your family. She also gives us wealth that makes us able to travel and get new toys. Most importantly, she gives us good health so that we can go to school without falling sick. That's why I love Lakshmi. Jaya Durga Lakshmi Saraswati Pahi Jagan Mata, Pahi Jagan Mata, Mam Pahi Jagan Mata, Trahi Jagan Mata, Mam Pahi Jagan Mata, Jaya Durga Lakshmi Saraswati, Pahi Jagan Mata. Mangala Mangala.
देखो देखो रे आए रे भगवान, देखो देखो रे देखो पुष्पकारूढ़ सिया राम, लक्ष्मण सुग्रीव हनुमान, लक्ष्मण सुग्रीव हनुमान, नल नील अंगद समेत, नल नील अंगद समेत, विभीषण रूप जाम्बवान, विभीषण रूप जाम्बवान। देखो देखो रे आए रे भगवान, देखो देखो रे आए रे भगवान। श्री राम सीता राम, श्री राम सीता राम। आनंद मगन पुरजन, आनंद मगन पुरजन, मंगल मोद त्रिभुवन, मंगल मोद त्रिभुवन। अब सत्य धर्म स्थापन, अब सत्य धर्म स्थापन, राम राज्य कीर्ति महान, राम राज्य कीर्ति महान। देखो देखो रे आए रे भगवान, देखो देखो रे आए रे भगवान। श्री राम सीता राम, श्री राम सीता राम, श्री राम सीता राम, सीता राम, सीता राम।
Thank you for bearing with us through our slight technical difficulties today. We'll conclude with a closing prayer. Once again, I wish you all a very happy Vijayadashami. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.